Hey there, college football fans. Tom Downey here. It is early National Signing Day, and we're going to keep looking at where things stand for various top college football programs. Now we've got LSU, the defending national champions, who are in pretty good shape in terms of where they're at right now. Number 4 in the 24/7 Sports Composite, yet number 6 everywhere else. Now look, Rivals and ESPN aren't really staying fully up to date, which is kind of weird, but we are. They sit number 4 in the composite rankings. Right now, 20 commits in total, a singular 5-star, but 14 4-stars to go along with their overall class. That's a pretty good base, and LSU is not done yet. 2 significant prospects they're going to keep their eyes out for as they wait to see their final decisions and sending in the letter of intents, all of that, because faxes are still used in 2020. Armani Goodwin, 4-star back, going to commit at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. And then 5-star defensive tackle, Mason Smith. He's committing at 4:30, so that's still a few hours away, but that is worth monitoring. If they can get one of those guys, LSU could jump as high as number 3 in the top recruiting classes this season. And before we break down each of these commits, who they are, where they rank, all that kind of stuff, I want you guys to give me a Go Tigers in the comments section. Harrison Graham, our producer, does a much better Ed Orgeron impression than I do, so I'm going to hold off on that one today. But give me a Go Tigers in the comments section. Let's go player by player or commit by commit here. We're going to begin with Sage Ryan, the number 1 recruit in this LSU Tigers class. A 5-star safety. You can play some cornerback as well. He's number 28 overall, the number 2 player in the state of Louisiana. Those are the types of guys LSU has to keep. All right, our next best player, I believe it's pronounced Raesjon Davis, the number 45 overall, 4-star linebacker, all the way out in California, pulling him away from USC. And then stop me if you've heard this before, a really highly touted wide receiver recruit going to LSU, JoJo Earle, number 48 overall, out of Texas. Only about 5'9.5", 170, so probably a slot receiver. But you know what? LSU done a pretty good job producing some slot receivers in the NFL, right? Likes of Jarvis Landry and Justin Jefferson. He's number 48 overall. All right, Derrick Davis out of Pennsylvania. Not going to Penn State, going to LSU instead. Number 58 overall, another safety, good size, listed at 6'1", 194. And then look at this, 2 more receivers. LSU bringing in 3 top 75 overall players at receiver this year. There's Dion Smith, who's got much better size, 6'1.5", out of Mississippi. The number 1 player, by the way, in the state of Mississippi. A nice get there for LSU. Chris Hilton, out of Louisiana, the number 3 player in the state. And hypothetically, they're all going to be catching passes from Garrett Nussmeier. And if you go, wait a minute, Nussmeyer, why do I recognize that name? 4-star recruit, number 86 overall, out of Texas. His dad is Doug Nussmeyer, the current Cowboys quarterback coach, who also, of course, spent some time at Florida and some other SEC programs. And, of course, former Cowboys offensive coordinator who worked with Doug Nussmeyer, Scott Linehan, is currently the LSU OC. So makes some sense, the connections there. I think Nussmeyer, one of the top-rated recruits for quarterbacks, number 8 at his position, out of Texas, 86 overall. Maybe he's the future at quarterback for LSU. Now, as we sit here filming this, and yes, there will be changes throughout the day and into the later National Signing Day period, LSU sits number 4 among the top 5 recruiting classes. They're just barely behind Georgia. A pretty big gap, though, between OSU and the number 3 and number 4 schools. But LSU might just end up with a top 3 class. If they get Mason Smith, they should jump to number 3, depending on what else Georgia and even Clemson could end up doing. So I want you guys to grade LSU's recruiting class. A, B, C, D, or F. They should finish top 5. Maybe it's not on the same par as an Alabama or an OSU class, but if I had told you, hey guys, LSU going to get a top 5 class this year, I think we all would have graded it an A. So that's what I'm going to give it. But if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. All right, some more players here for LSU. Now the guys, outside of the top 100. 100. You've got Landon Jackson, number 123 overall. He has actually a hard commit. Only a couple guys have actually sent their letters of intent early for LSU, but they're all come in as we move forward throughout the day. Again, 4-star defensive end. Running back Khari Gee, 4-star running back. Maybe he's the next great LSU back. Another defensive end, Savion Jones, number 164 overall. Another guy out of the state of Louisiana. By the way, Khari Gee out of Ohio, all the way in Cincinnati, so kind of a surprise get there. Greg Penn III, a linebacker recruit. He has actually sent in his letter of intent. DeMatha High School in Maryland, 212 overall. And then, oh look, another linebacker commit, just one spot behind Penn. Xavier Carter, a 4-star recruit out of Atlanta, Georgia. So they pulled him away despite a fairly hefty SEC push, which shouldn't be much of a surprise there, given that's how LSU always has to recruit. We've got some more players to get to. Before we do, though, I want you guys to shout out your favorite player in this class. Doesn't have to be the highest-rated guy. That's Sage Ryan, the defensive back. Maybe you just like the name. Maybe there's a particular position you really wanted. Maybe you've seen some highlight films. Let me know in the comments section who your favorite player in this year's class is for LSU. All right, some more recruits I want to dive into here. Malik Nabers actually committed earlier today. This was a today decision for Nabers out of Louisiana. Another receiver from the state, number 8 overall. The Tigers doing a good job of keeping the homegrown talent in the state. And speaking of receivers from Louisiana, Jack Beach, another one. Kind of crazy how that class ended up working out there for the Tigers. Then into some of their 3-star recruits. They've got Khari Gee here, a safety out of Atlanta, Georgia, 3-star. Matthew, I think it's pronounced Langlois as well, 505. So, again, a pretty big drop-off there in terms of the recruits. But he is a safety, 3-star. A lot of safeties, a lot of receivers for this year's class. Probably not a bad thing if you're LSU, because those positions are historically ones they've done a good job of developing at LSU. Now, if you guys love college football, hit that big red button and subscribe. We're going to keep taking you guys through various college football teams and how their classes stack up this year. Some of those major programs, you guys know which ones I'm talking about there. We'll also take a look at the college football playoff final rankings on Sunday morning. Do some bowl game breakdowns. If you want to stay up to date, hit that big red button and subscribe today. All right, the last 3 commits here for LSU. The first and last have sent in their letters already. I believe it's pronounced Navonteque Strong. If I botched that, I'm sorry, my friend. Number 18 overall JUCO recruit, the number 1 JUCO linebacker at a Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, 7th in the state there. Jalen Shead, the tight end, number 926 overall. And then, yes, a punter for LSU. From the state, by the way, of Louisiana, the number 1 punter, actually, Peyton Todd. He's not ranked because the 24/7 composite doesn't rank punters, but you know what? I'm mostly okay with that one because I wouldn't really either. So that is LSU's class as we sit here filming. 20 commits in total, the 1 5-star, 14 4-stars, and a chance for LSU to add another big-time player or two before we get to the end of National Signing Day.